tuned to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
One by One Kia full range of products embodies fundamental nutrients necessary to maintain beautiful and healthy hair care without having to combine an assortment of hair care products. The One by One Kia products are designed to rejuvenate, moisturize, create shine, fortify, and stimulate hair growth while leaving your hair feeling weightless and luxurious. Be sure to visit our website at www.onebywankaya.com and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at One by One Kia. Let's get your healthy hair care journey started today. The Hinkson Firm's mission is to provide superior legal service in the areas of family law, child welfare law, general legal services, and mediation by keeping convenience of the clients at the forefront. The Hinkson Firm's goal is to eliminate the stress of an already intense situation in your life by coming directly to your workplace and or a location close to your home for consultation, meetings, and mediation. The Hinkson firm customized legal attention based on the needs of each client while treating every client with the dignity and respect they deserve, while fighting strongly and fiercely for justice and their legal rights. The Hinkson firm can be reached at 470-499-4704.
Big up Dan Minot!
I did talk to him too.
We gotta work it out. I find it hard to believe that we don't love no more. Find it hard to believe we don't love like before. There was a time when we loved, live in love and harmony. We had a whole lot of love. We lived in unity. So where did we go wrong? We don't sing the same song. Where did we go wrong? Yeah, we don't sing that same song. 'Cause I find it hard to believe.
Greetings, 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 greetings.
I find it hard to believe. We should be a brother. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Greetings, I said. How are you doing, my sister?
Still choked up, coughing every minute, crying, eyes. Um, just can't. Just my mind is just gray today because of all that's been going on the past couple days.
Yeah,
I just feel overwhelmed.
yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot that's been going on for the last couple of days. The guilty verdict for
Well,
shopping.
that's one thing that did lift my spirits, but right before then,
Yes, the young girl that got was shot by the police officer, and then I guess today there was a
turn
father.
your volume up.
Turn my volume up, up,
There
up.
we go.
All right, my volume is up. Okay, I see it on the board as well. It's up there, so everyone should be hearing me just fine. I guess I have to keep my face closer to the mic and maybe adjust the camera here and there. But yeah, yeah. Did I say greetings to you, Acid? Greetings to all of our listeners. Welcome to another edition of Reasoning Thursdays. The telephone lines are open 706-955-2001, 706-955-2001. So the telephone lines are open, so you could give us a call in the studio. And yeah, it's a lot going on. So you want to say hello to our listeners?
Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day. All right. Well, happy Earth Day. And man, what a Earth Day. Because a lot's been going on in the weather, climate wise, snowing and sunny one day, 20 degrees drop.
No, don't even play. It's been hell on one side of the street, and the other side of the street is in the summer.
I'm telling
My
you,
street.
it's something. It's something. Because
People couldn't believe me when I said that it had snowed,
when you told me
and
that
I
yesterday,
had tulips, and then I sent people pictures so they could see the snow on the other side of the street, and my side of the street had tulips and daffodils.
that you didn't that you have snow, I was like, what? Snow? But it was chilly here as well because we were going up into the 80s and high 70s, and we just dropped bam last night.
We gonna have the 70s this weekend. Can you imagine? We had 30 degrees. It's 40 degrees right now.
And then they say no, climate change is going on. Something is going on. You know, the volcanoes are erupting. I mean, just a really, really lot of things that are taking place right now. It's crazy.
Well, one thing I could say is it's beef feeding time. I hope people stop spraying Roundup on their grass and start letting the dandelions grow. Because believe it or not, when you have dandelions that grow on your grass, it indicates that you have rich soil. The dandelions, by the way, are also very high in vitamin C. So if you really want to get rid of them, get a big bag and go on out there and pull them up and make you a salad.
With the
You'll
dandelion
love it.
yard.
Especially if you don't spray no crap on your lawn. My lawn is all natural. People drive by and say, "You got flowers right now?" I say, "Yeah, they coming up because I planted them last fall. I planted bulbs and I planted seeds, and things are coming up now." And people are just so unfortunately used to going every year and buying annuals that they don't even consider the toll on the earth by doing that. They don't consider the fact that plants are not supposed to be disposable. You're supposed to spend your money on perennials
Yeah.
and put them in. So that means that if you put in some plants
Every
next year, those plants should have dropped some seeds, or you should have planted some more seeds of the same type to help boost them up. And the next spring, you should see them coming up.
that's what I do. My entire yard is just basically filled with perennials. This is the only thing my planter. I have two planters in the front of my door.
Yeah, that's different.
Those are the only two places that I put the annuals in. But and even in my planters, I still have perennials in my planters as well.
Me
So
too. I
you know,
save my geraniums and bring them back inside.
this spring my plants were just fantabulously fabulous. My yard was looking really, really gorgeous. So
Oh, I'm
it's
so jealous.
little things such as that persons don't really realize the impact that it does make on the earth. So I'm glad that you did mention that as even to
Don't
be
kill your dandelions. Don't use Roundup. Don't spray weed killer on your grass.
ooh, that I'm not that I can't necessarily.
Let me give you a couple things to think about.
What is
Okay,
what is that?
Roundup.
Oh no, I don't use Roundup
No,
because
I'm just saying Roundup,
it's
right?
cancerous. It's very
If they stop the farmers from using it,
yeah, it's very cancerous. It's not good for
why did they allow it to still be on the market and home gardens?
yeah.
They don't care about you eating it and
Mm.
getting cancer and then coming back to sue them. I guess they don't stay up late at night and watch those commercials like the ones from the attorneys that talk about stuff like mesothelioma. Yeah, I
Okay.
can say it.
I sure cannot say it, so I'm not even going to attempt to say it. I,
Hey, I can also say hydroxychloroquine because I have taken it, and I'm not proud. But it really messed me up when I had to take it. But you know what? I was glad that I could get it to take it so that
I,
I didn't get yellow fever
I haven't taken it, but
or
yeah,
malaria. That's really why I took it.
but yeah,
I went to Haiti. I took it to go to Haiti.
you did what? You had to take
In
it to.
order to go to Haiti, you had to take it.
Oh, really? Because
I went to Haiti in the 80s the
all of
first time. And if you didn't take Valerium, you couldn't go to Haiti because you get instant malaria. World Health Organization would have you take a shot passport. Before you go, you have to have everything in your shot passport. So previously, when people would do long-term international travel or they would go to multiple hemispheres, they had to update that shot passport in each country that they were going to. An example of that was I used to travel with a friend of mine who had a boat, and we used to get on there and he would sail from island to island in the Caribbean. Supposedly, all the Caribbean islands have one general passport. Did you notice I said supposedly?
yeah.
Now, let me explain why I say it supposedly.
Go ahead.
It's places that you can't go unless you got certain arrangements made before you try to go there. St. Bart's is one of them. When you want to go to St. Bart's, you have to be pre-booked, you have to have your round trip ticket, and you have to provide all that before you can actually buy your airline ticket. You have to prove that you can afford your round trip airline ticket. Another place that's like that is Mauritius. Also, well, anyway, these are places that are very expensive to go to, and they don't want you thinking you could just. Madagascar is also one of those places. You could just go there and stay. So if you can't show proof of your round trip ticket, you can't come. Another place like that is also Cuba. Venezuela was like that for a while. Trinidad is like that. Well, anyway, the reason that they're like that is they want proof of your shots so that you don't come in and bring things and infect people.
Exactly.
Now, reason I brought that up is because we are still talking about coronavirus, and I hope Lady D doesn't spank me for this, but I want to go there first. Um, the people in India recorded 314 plus thousand brand new cases of COVID 19 today in one day. One day. That is the record for the world.
Right.
Okay, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying that is really not a good thing.
Have
Now, let me also say that one of the reasons they were able to track this data is because India started receiving assistance from the World Health Organization once they started to upgrade their vaccine distribution because there were certain spots in India where people weren't getting the vaccine. And we've been talking about, this vaccine disparity in delivery to poor countries and people of color and places where if your government isn't buying it, you're not getting it. Okay. So, one of the things that happened this past week that I'm really torn about, but I'm sure that there's some good to it. The United States government, the United States Health Service,
Mhm.
most people don't know that, the United States has the U.S. Health Service. It works with the World Health Organization. They decided to pay for some vaccine for the people in Guatemala. And the reason they did that was because they're getting a wave of new people coming from Guatemala. And a lot of them, when they come in, they're already COVID positive. So they felt that maybe if they could help to fight COVID, that it would convince people not to take this long, dangerous journey to come to the United States and end up having to go through all of these immigration twists and turns.
Right. That's something.
So this is just random, but even though it's random, you're frozen. You know that, right? Your
Yeah.
picture's frozen.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here trying to correct it right now.
I need to freeze mine.
Don't freeze yours. I'm coming live just in a second. I'm just working it out.
I know. I was just being facetious. You know how I am, trying to make somebody laugh, like I'm actually happy with my fake self. Because everybody could see I'm not happy today. I mean, I don't have a single joke. I can't even. Well, I got one joke.
Well, what's the joke? And then I think we need to touch on the situation with the young girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your thoughts on that.
The joke is, why do police put their taser in the front of their belt, but their guns on the dominant side?
Mm, question. Why? What's the joke?
America wants to know that too, but I'm gonna tell you what my feelings on it are.
Okay.
Maybe they ain't getting enough action at home.
Okay. I'm not even gonna go there with you.
They could just reach down there and hit that taser, and everything will be okay.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna.
Some people need to go there. They really do. Some people really need to go there because if you are so unable to do your job that you can't even announce that you're getting ready to shoot a child who was the one who called you for assistance, who is being bullied right in front of you, and you decide to go in being a super bully and murder the
I'm a
victim.
yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I'm
I'm
sure my look is saying it all.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to bake that pie and be able to deliver it up to the jail. The chicken pot pie family sometimes bring them some special meals. Well, I don't think they allow you to take special meals up to the jail no more. But if
Let's
I could, I'd
let's
love to bake
let's reason on that.
yeah, I'd like to bake a pie.
Big shout outs to Lingo. Um,
Big up Delroy Lingo.
to Lingo, and thanks for joining us. Um, let's touch that. Let's touch that.
People bringing stuff to people in jail. Because I
No,
heard somebody took something to somebody in jail in Jamaica that just made the whole jail go crazy.
no, I'm speaking of the where we were at with the young girl. And
Yeah.
remember, you asked me a question. I think it was 2 weeks ago. You asked me a question as to um if I heard my neighbors arguing, would I call the police? And you know, it's just like this young, and we discussed about the George Floyd situation,
Mhm.
where the young gentleman who called the police is now saying that he regret doing so. And that was a guilt that he had. Now this young lady, she called the police, yes, for assistance. um and I was and I watched the video. I watched a little bit of it. um
I watched the whole thing over and over to understand what happened
and
with the sound.
give me an idea. What is your thought on what happened? Because I
Exactly what happened was they rolled up. He jumped out of the car. He said, "Get on the ground," and then he shot. All within 5 seconds. There was a timer on the bottom of the screen showing how quickly he shot. He didn't even reach for his taser. He just came out with a service weapon like this, which is why I said, why do they put them in this position? I have a new answer.
okay.
Put the gun in the front and put the taser on the dominant hand.
Are
And
we
let's see how many
are we
accidents we
saying
have then.
are you saying that you feel that he was trying to reach for the taser instead of the gun, made another officer making another mistake?
No, because he didn't announce anything. He just shot. He never once said,
But
"Halt, I'm going to shoot."
Mama Acid, um, the young lady had a knife,
She
and
was 12 inches, she was 12 feet from him. They measured it,
it's
and she didn't have the knife in her hand.
it's
She
not
did not have the knife in her hand. When
it's
he said drop it, she had dropped the knife already because her and the girl were tussling back and forth. The knife was on the ground, and it was a little steak knife. Dang, I forgot to bring my steak knife in here, but it was about this big.
okay. What I had saw was this young lady having the knife, and I saw her having the knife at an angle with the young lady with the pink dress, with the pink
Right.
jog suit on. In the what I saw of the clip, she was getting, it appeared that she was getting ready to stab this other young lady that was in the pink up against the car.
Did it seem like she was the aggressor or like she was defending herself?
Whether she's defending herself or being the aggressor, she had a knife in her hand in a position where she if in a position where she was getting ready to move to stab the other person that was up against the car.
So it was defensive or offensive, in your opinion?
Whether, I don't know if it's I think a person, two persons are fighting.
If it was offensive, she wouldn't have dropped it.
Two person, but did she drop it before he?
She dropped it. When the cops said, "Get on the ground," the other girl got on the ground and she dropped the knife, and her and the girl were fighting. They were going hand up. She had her hands on the girl, but she didn't have a knife in her hand.
She did not have a knife in her hand.
She had dropped it
Time
because when the cop shot her 4 times, the knife was laying down there. And what really amazes me is that he was able to shoot her and not shoot both of them. So it tells me that he took a moment to center himself to specifically shoot her.
Okay, the numbers right here is 706-955-2001. The lines are open if you're interested in making a comment on it.
Well, and I hope some people are, because this is something we really need to talk about, because this one is different. She's in a stand your ground state. She was living there and she was standing her ground when she was being attacked at her place of residence.
Okay, we do have a caller. We do have a caller. Caller, good evening.
Good evening, Lady D.
Good evening, Don. How are you doing?
I'm good. Mama Ashley, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Minot.
I got a question for you, ladies.
Yes.
What if the police didn't shoot and she killed the other girl? Then what would we say?
That was one of the things that I was kind of saying to Mama. I was coming to that in what I was saying to Mama Acid. The stance that I saw that this young lady had, she was about to stab the other young lady, whether it's offensive or defensive. She was getting ready to stab another young lady, and in fight, we need to learn to fist fight. All of this weapon.
Right.
She called in and said there were persons out there, big grown people out there with knives. Why would you go out there? Why would you go out there?
He was out there already because they came to the house to attack her, which was why those adults that were out there, they worked at the house and they were trying to keep those other girls to stay away from the house because they had caused all these problems. So they called the police, and this girl had snuck around, the girl with the pink, to get to the other girl. See, I saw a long piece of what happened.
Okay, I understand, but I'm saying that what the basis for him shooting is because she had the knife in a position where she was going to stab this other girl. If she was successful in that, I think that this case is like you don't know. It's such an on the fence thing, because if she had
stabbed her,
bodily injury to
how
this
would it have been
other
seen?
person,
Would have been self-defense.
But the other person did not have a knife. So how is it? And she didn't have a weapon. So how is it necessarily self-defense
that we saw?
So if me and you is fighting, and I have a knife and you don't have a knife, and you're fist fighting me, and you pull out a weapon and stab me with it, you're defending yourself?
If you are 15 years old and you are at a house where you live and people are there threatening you in a group, and the only thing you can do is stand your ground, the law says you're entitled to stand your ground. Now, me personally, my feelings on it, you already know. I would have threw the knife down anyway and rushed straight for him, because it would have been time for me to take their blood pressure. That's what I love to do.
One moment, Acid. Let Don respond. Go ahead, Don.
Mama Acid said earlier that there were police there before that officer came. There were other police there, right?
No, there were 4 other adults who worked for that home.
So there was no police there before this other cop
They
came.
all showed up at once. And this one guy was by himself. He jumped out. If you notice, the other cops, they come from the other direction. He's over here, and the other ones are coming towards him. So when she gets shot, they rush in towards the other cops, rush in towards her to try to start CPR, and he's still holding his gun on them. Because they said, "Hey, man, why'd you do that?" That's what the cop said to him. Why'd you do that?
One moment.
You could hear the police giving her a command. And
he didn't give her any commands at all.
She totally ignored the fact that police was there.
He didn't give her any commands at all. Let me tell you what happened.
Wait a
minute. The 2 girls were fighting.
Let Don finish his statement, then you finish your statement. Go ahead, Don.
I'm just saying, Mama, I want you to respond to that, Mama. The police was there, and she must have known the police was there, because the police announced himself. He said something. I don't remember exactly what he said. But
he said to them, "Get down."
One moment.
That's the only words he said. The only words that were said by the cops was, "Get down." That's why you see the one girl who had gotten punched by the adult over there leaning on the back of the car fall on the ground in front of him, and then he pulls his weapon and fires on the 2 girls on the car.
It looked like she dived and rolled. Did she not roll?
The first girl,
she had got hit. That's why she fell on the ground like that. She had gotten hit by one of the adults sitting on the back of the car. If you want to see it, if you want to see a really good full view of the whole thing,
Yeah.
go to Roland Martin.
Okay.
Roland Martin has the whole thing. He's showing you. He's showing you from when they were fighting, when the adult hits the other girl dressed in white and black, and she falls back and falls like this. The other three girls are out there, and then you see the two girls. One girl rushes off, and you see the other two girls are fighting. One of them is Michaela Bryant, and the other one was the girl dressed in pink. Michaela Bryant was fighting an adult. They made her, the police saw her as an adult because she was a big girl. I take exception to that because my granddaughter is a big girl too.
I don't think anywhere that you go and you're in a situation of crisis that you're worrying if an individual is an adult or if it did or if
No. Sorry. Mm-mm.
at that particular moment. And my thing is that, and I will go to Roland and look at that video later today, and then we can discuss it again next week. Go further into this discussion next week, because the stance that I saw her take, she looked like she was about to stab this other young lady, and if she was successful in that, as Don did say, what will we be saying now? What will we be saying if this young lady lost her life? That the police stood there and watched this thing happen and didn't try to stop her in any form of way. What would we be
I don't think so because if you got four adults fighting one child and then you got three other adults who are there trying to break it up and they can't break it up, they seem to have said, if we don't get the police involved, it will be another type of problem because it was a children's foster care home residence. These
I
kids are in these kids are in adult supervision in this particular residence. And these girls who came there to fight her.
okay,
And
but
the adults couldn't stop them. That's why they called the police.
no, they didn't. She called the police.
That's what
She
I'm
called
saying. The police were called because those girls would not leave, even for the adults who worked there.
as the adults that even work there in a group home, in a foster care setting. This young lady should not have been allowed to leave the house because obviously, when the phone call was placed, allegedly, when the phone call was placed, she was in the home. So she went out of the home to face these individuals with a weapon to do bodily harm to whomever. You went out there to fight this next person. I am heartbroken. I'm heartbroken to know that a young 16-year-old girl has lost her life. But I'm also saying this young 16-year-old girl went out there with a knife to go out there to fight, whether it's adult, children, another child, whatever. That person went out there to fight, and she was in a stance where she was about to stab another person. So it's sad that we have to. It's sad that it's a 16-year-old young girl, and for this officer to have
15.
to shoot her 16, and for this
15.
15. I thought they had said 16 because first it was 14.
She's 16. She's 16 years old.
16 years old is the last that I heard, even up to today. Thank you, Don, for confirming that. But first it was she was 14, then it went to 16. So the last that I heard, she was 16 years old. She went out there, and we know when we are young, our head hot. We head hot, you know. And okay, we got the police coming. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna deal with these people. I'm gonna get some hits in. This could be our young mentality. We could go out there, we could do some fist fight, maybe I could get some good hits in, you know. And it's, for me, it's devastating and it's sad that something like this had to happen. but in some form of way, I feel like she contributed to this entire thing. Why she didn't stay in her home? And what about the group home, the foster care that she was in? Are they taking any responsibility for not locking down the home,
That's what the
not
mother
training?
was talking about today earlier when she was on television. Did you see what
Okay,
the mother said?
no, I did not. I did not. Donna, did you have a comment, Don?
No, no,
Okay.
no. All I'm saying, I'm. There's just one thing that keep coming back in my head, Mama Acid. Is wasn't she aware that the police was there? And if so, why didn't she stop? Because the police was there now.
Were
The police
there.
came, and she should have been aware that the police is there. And she was still trying to hurt this girl, even though the police was there.
Don, maybe she was trying to keep the girl from hurting her because she dropped the knife.
I'm going to watch
When
the
she was shot, the knife was not in her hands.
Video I saw, the video I saw was the knife raised in a down position, like she was gonna come down with the knife in the girl's neck.
You
That's
need to go watch the full video because you haven't seen it because the knife was on the ground.
okay.
When the girl was shot, the knife was on the ground. She was shot against the car.
The
The
numbers
other girl was barely missed.
okay, the numbers right here is 706-955-2001. If you call in and let us know your thought on the situation with the young 16-year-old Michaela
Bryant.
Bryant, who was shot and killed yesterday, a little bit before the George Floyd verdict. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to watch the full of Martin. I really don't watch him too much, but I am going to check out Roland and Martin and look at the full video as to what you're saying, as to the knife being down on the
On the
ground
ground, laying on the ground, at
before
least 6 feet from her,
before any shots were before any
before shots were fired. And he never announced he was shooting nobody. He just pulled out his gun and fired 4 times. Bam, 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 bam. Why did he have to fire 4 times?
is
He's a full grown man.
have we ever thought about the training? And as you said, you're saying you keep using them as a full grown man
I like that.
because we're looking at these children, we're looking at them as children because we know of her as a child. But as you said, bodily wise,
Adultification by white people.
they look adult. Listen, acid. I know I've seen some young girls that I'm thinking that is in their 20s and 25 and they 16. So it's not just because they're white that they made this call that
No, I mean, I'm just saying that that is a typical thing that happens when police get involved with black people, is that kids are adultified. That's why they killed Tamar Rice in the park. He was 11.
because they feel that they're an adult. With Tamar Rice, I thought it was he was holding
A toy gun
which they definitely
in the park.
accountable for that incident right there. I don't think it was an adult. I think it's because of what they assumed was in their hand, which what was in his hand, which definitely is an error, and they should have been prosecuted to the fullest of the extent of that because
They
that
weren't.
play gun with a little, but I don't think they just jumped out saying, "Oh, this is an adult." It's what he had in his hand. So
They said, put your hands up. Bam, 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 bam.
to whom?
It wasn't even time for him to do anything other than put his hands up and get shot.
You're back at Tamar. Okay, I understand that. We're not going to debate that one because I'm fully for prosecution on that case. But this young lady here, I'm definitely somewhat on the fence on this because of what I saw in the video. And
One of my issues is that why is the news media not showing the full undoctored video?
because they're not going to show the full
Why is it that we can find it on the internet?
because the internet is somewhat censored, but is not as censored as the media is going to be, and they're not.
Go to Roland Martin and look at it because he's on YouTube and
Okay, they say he dropped the knife before he shoot her. So they're saying she dropped the knife before he shoot her. That's what Sybil has said. Big ups to you, Sybil, for checking in on that. And so that is confirmation as to what Mama Acid said, that the knife was not in her hands when he shot her. So with all of that, and once again, I'm going to go and look over the Roland Martin complete video of it myself.
mhm.
And if that is the case, then yeah, there are to be a serious investigation. Yes, the officer are to be prosecuted, to the full extent. You know what I'm saying? Yes. On those cases, if there was not a weapon in her hand, just like the Tortilla, I think, guy in Chicago, where the 13-year-old who came out with his hands up and they still shot him, and they're trying to say that the gun was there next to him, but he didn't have the gun in his hand.
Adam Toledo didn't have nothing.
And he showed his two hands.
They
So
use strobe lights too. That's another thing we really need to talk about. All this extra equipment that they using.
So I will watch it, and I encourage each and every one to go on. Oh, wait a minute. She said, "I'm sorry, she dropped the knife." What we're trying to find out is, did she drop the knife before or after? But I guess that's what you're saying. She dropped the knife. Okay. I'm sorry, she dropped the knife. Okay. That's coming from Sybil on YouTube live. Okay, the numbers right here is 706-955-2001. We have 15 minutes left to go for the program, and 7:46 on the Powerhouse clock. And so Mama Acid saw where she dropped the knife, and it was elaborated on the Roland Martin's site. So as
Roland Martin on YouTube.
on YouTube. You were saying something, Don?
No, I'm gonna get off. So,
Okay.
Because I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
Have a good evening, Mama Acid.
Oh, wait, Don. Can we ask you about your feelings about the Derek Chauvin trial?
Well, what we should be concerned about now is what is the judge going to do? How many years is the judge going to give him?
Yeah.
That's where the argument should be right now. The judge, what is he going to do?
For each count, it says 10 and I think 10 and a half years, Mama answers something like that. So
Up to 20.
Up to 20 for each count. So is this something
But
consecutively?
But
yeah.
Two things.
Yeah,
concurrently, he cannot serve them concurrently.
He's eligible to get at least 40 years for all three charges. Up to 40 years, I read. It said he could get up to 40 years. But is he gonna get 40 years? He's even gonna get 20.
Right.
That's the argument. Because it's all up to the discretion of the judge. So let's see what the judge is gonna do.
What the judge is going to do. And you were saying, Mama Acid?
The judge has already said that the reason that he made sure that he gave the instructions the way he did to the jury was because he wanted the jurors to understand the impact that it had on those kids who testified. So the kids testifying had a great amount of weight on how this trial played out. As well, the humanitarian aspects of it really rang out in the news because people were now starting to understand that there was so much gaslighting going on. Like, you killed a man. Why are you talking about he could have died from carbon monoxide because he was on the ground beneath a vehicle that wasn't even on? Why are you denying the fact that this man's full weight was on this man's body, pressing down for 9 minutes and 24 seconds which in essence exhausted the air in his diaphragm and his lungs because they wanted to deny that he could. They didn't understand that he could talk and not breathe. It's all about the mechanics of understanding how the body works.
Right.
You
So
know, so it's just like these cops
right.
practicing law on the street. If they don't know the law, how are they practicing it?
So what we have to do is just pray that at this point that he does get 40 years. And if not, at least I'm hoping that he gets 20 to 25 years and not that 10 years. So we're hoping that with the statement as well that you've also enlightened us to from the judge of him trying to make a point as to the effect it has on the children, that he also thinks of the effects and really drop the bomb on him, lock him away for quite some time. And his face just always just looks so clueless, so
That's all we can hope for. That's all
that's
we can
all
hope
we
for.
can
To
hope
just
for.
put him away
Mhm.
for a long time.
Yeah. And now,
Okay, but this week I got a shock, and I don't know if y'all paid attention to it, but did you know the woman who killed Botham Jean in his apartment, the police, she could be getting out of jail in 2 years.
yeah, that's it's a sad thing, but it's a
I
sad.
don't see how it could be possible.
Why you don't see how it can be possible?
Second degree murder?
But why? What she got second degree murder, but what was her sentences? Sentence.
She was supposed to get what second degree murder gets you 10 to 20. She should have got a minimum of 10 years. I believe she was sentenced to 10 to 20, and then she's getting out of jail in 2 years. She might be getting out next year. So if
That's
she murdered him year before last and she gets out next year, she
but
could go back and be a cop again too.
she does have to go in
She
front.
doesn't have to register as a murderer,
No, no,
even
no.
though if she had sexually assaulted a child, she would be a child offender and she would be registered in a national database.
That's
So
not.
why don't we have a national database for murderers who are released from jail?
That's not what I'm was going to say.
No, but I'm throwing that in there because I think these killer cops need to be registered. When they kill people, we need a database.
He does go up for a hearing, doesn't she? In order to come out, or this is just her sentence. 10 to 20, and you coming out in less than 2 years, because that's obviously she must have served like maybe 2 or 3 years.
The courts are going to release her because she is asking the court for a short sentence based upon COVID.
Well, that is for his parents and them to advocate and to fight that this does not happen. So I'm hoping that enough
Did the brother not hug her?
would
And
well,
they tried to shut the mama down because the mother was telling the truth, and they made it a point of not covering her.
well, if the brother wants to go and speak on her behalf and he wants to be forgiven, then that's on
He
him.
already did that at the trial.
And that's on him. We want to say big ups and greetings to Tonia, of the Let's Gripe crew. Big
What's up, Tonia?
in as well. Um, but yeah, that's something that I feel the family has to definitely fight against, and whatever hearings that you have to um and one brother doesn't make up the whole bunch. So if enough persons and enough recommendations for her not to be able to be released, then yeah, I think that she won't be released. So we'll just continue to pray for that to happen. And you know,
Are we still going to continue our conversation about defunding the police and right sizing their budget? Aren't
sure.
we going to discuss the fact that instead of them going out there with guns to kill Michaela Bryant, they should have went out there with a social worker or maybe two people to teach them how to box?
But
Because if cops can't handle girls, should they be on the street? Should they be 55 and 60 years old, terrified out there shooting people? If you're not able to put it up,
as
hang it up.
I said, you're throwing things out there after the fact. When she called in, she did not she did not identify herself as being a 16-year-old young girl. She said that she has a whole bunch some adults, according to what I heard, and it may be wrong, but I'll listen to the tape again. She when the phone call came in, it was that some adults are out there with knives. You know, she didn't say she was a kid. She didn't. They're not thinking to go there, especially with adults with knives. Whom is thinking to go there with social workers? Whom suppose they don't even know that that home is a group home? Have they been called out to that home several times? Have there been incidents that occurred at that location several times to put a red flag as to that being a hostile location, or a location that has always that keeps having reoccurrences, violent reoccurrences, to know how to come out there? I
In
mean,
most states, when you have a licensed home, you're required to have it registered. So when law enforcement or other first responders have to come there, they are already aware of the fact that there
nine
is a
times
license for a facility.
9 times out of 10, when dispatch is dispatching police for an emergency, they're not saying, oh, there's an emergency at a group home. They're going to say there's an emergency taking place at ABCDEFG, and it is reported that there are adults out there with knives. So that is what is reported. I definitely don't think it's reported that, hey, that's a group home at so and so and so, and you got kids there and adults there. I mean, they're not thinking to get into that kind of
I
conversation.
really want to hear the dispatch on this
I would
one
like to hear that too. They may
and
think,
the 911 conversation. They need to release it all.
yeah, everything they need to release so that we can get a complete, clear picture of what is what has taken place. But once again, until I really view that for myself in regards to Michaela, rest her soul, my condolences, prayers, because regardless of whatever a child has lost their life, that goes out to the parents, the family, the friends, the followers, because she had followers on YouTube and stuff like that. I send my deepest prayers of comfort to each and every one. But I'm once again fair. I try to be fair and not just look at her just being a child, but look at the actions that were taken, and look at the position and the stance that she was in. And possibly it could have been another person live. And then what would we say then if that was so? We're still not going to say it was self-defense. We're still going to look at this police officer and say, oh, so why he didn't stop her from killing this young lady? He stood there with the gun. We we don't know. We don't know. And it's so bad that we have to make assumptions, but I'm sorry the loss of her life. I really am. And I just don't know what else to say in regards to that until I watch. But if it is where she did not have a weapon in her hand and he shot her, then that is murder. If she was in a position
She had dropped the knife.
he was going to stab to
That's why the other guy said, "Why did you do that?"
person, if she was going to stab another person, then that is another question in itself.
Just wait till you watch it and you see he's holding the gun on his other police officers who are there on top of her, giving her CPR.
I saw where he was with the gun, but and also in the
He
news,
froze.
as I said, I read what I saw and what I heard. I heard where there was no form of um, aid rendered to her, and but then yet you're saying there were officers there.
They ran over there. Three other ones ran from around the car and said, "Why did you do that?" And then he just immediately went down and started trying to give her CPR. And the other one called and said, "We need a bus." I heard him say, "We need a bus."
As
Watch the video so you can see
I'm
it
gonna
for
watch the
yourself. because it really is something that your heart will be beating real fast
I'm going to watch.
in 10 minutes.
I'm definitely going to watch the video, but sometimes we have to listen to what we're even saying because yourself said previously that there was other officers down rendering CPR, and then you're saying that he went down and started to render CPR.
No, the officer, the
That's
shooter was still holding his gun, pointing it at the girl and the other cop who was down there after he said to him, the cop who was giving her CPR was the one who said to the other cop, "Why did you shoot her?" That's what he said.
what you
And
said.
then he bent down and started giving her CPR. The other cops are coming around, the other two, they call for EMS.
Okay, so I'm going to watch it, and
It's
every
4 cops involved. Only one of them is riding by himself, and he's the one who's the shooter. He runs in first, and you'll see him run in and scream, "Get down." When he screams, "Get down," that's when they hit the girl who was trying to fight the men on the back of the car. That's when they hit her, and she fell right in front of him. And the cop then just unloads 4 shots on Makia Bryant, who is on the car, because she had dropped the knife, and her and the girl were tussling. It looked to me like she was trying to keep the girl from pushing her on the car and really, banging her head up or whatever. But if you watch it, you'll see. Just go ahead and watch it. It's very difficult to watch. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, you should probably have a glass of wine, and you should probably slow it down, digest it a little bit at a time, and then go back after you've watched it and watch it one more time. Just watch it all the way through.
I'm definitely going to watch it one more time. And it's 8 o'clock, right on the nose, and that is our tell time to go. But we first, before we go, we just want to encourage each and everyone to listen to all of the fantabulous programmings right here on the Powerhouse Radio. On Wednesdays nights, you have Let's Gripe with Tonia, McKenna, and Marcus. That's from 7 to 8. Let's Gripe, great topics and gripe. And also, we invite you to continue to listen right here to Reasoning Thursdays, each and every Thursdays from 7 p.m. up until the 8 o'clock hour. And also on Thursdays, right after this programming, we're going to be having Too Strong Praise Moment. So check him out from 9 to 10, and sometimes if we go over, it's from 8 to 10, but if we go over, he'll be on following Reasoning Thursday. We'll bring that programming up. And also on Saturdays, listen to the Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion each and every Saturdays from 8 a.m. up until the 10 o'clock hour. And then yours truly, Lady D, be on from 12 to 4 p.m. And Acid, I may tell you to call in and let's do a little 10 minutes on the same discussion after I watch it. And Sunday nights, don't forget to the vibes, fun Sundays vibes with the Gospel Vibes crew from 8 a.m. up until the 11 o'clock hour, and then the Hope Redemption Worship Center from 11 to 1. And you have some jazz from 1 to 5, and the Medicure Daughter is going to be starting next month, May, from 6 to 7. And then it's all about love, nothing but love, with yours truly, Lady D, Blossom, and Cool G. And you have Kids Corner on Tuesdays from 6 to 7 p.m. With 5 fantabulous young lady and men. So you definitely don't want to miss that.
Make sure y'all support them.
And Acid, we're still in discussion as to our night, adults only night talk. So we're gonna be getting that on the go pretty soon.
Maybe that's where we could discuss all this real violence that's going on and all of this hatred that we're seeing out here.
I don't
Because
know.
some of it is not worthy to be heard during regular hours.
Okay, well we'll be doing adult night talk. All righty. Keep it locked right here on the Powerhouse Radio. We want to thank each and every one for joining us. You all be sure to use your hand sanitizers, wash your hands, wear your mask, social distance, and all of these things. And if you choose to be vaccinated, go and get vaccinated. Acid, you want to say anything to our listeners before we go?
Please tune in. Make sure you subscribe to us on all of the platforms. Make sure you share us with your family and your friends because we're trying to get up to enough subscribers that we can monetize. Remember, all of this is sponsored by Lady D. So we really, really, really need you to help us get it out of her pocket. Let YouTube pay for it. Have everybody subscribe. Call your whole usher board. Tell them subscribe.
We love you all. We thank you all for joining us, Mama Acid. You know that forever and ever, it is always a pleasure.
Love, 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 man.
Every Thursdays right here on. And I thank you, okay, for always coming with information and good reasoning. All right, so you be blessed and you have a fantabulously fabulous night, week until we talk again. Leaving out with the big man, Don.
Why not?
I did talk to Don. Hold the line for me, Acid. Okay.
Okay.
We gotta work it out. I find it hard to believe that we don't love no more. I find it hard to believe we don't love like before. There was a time when
Thank you all. Thank you all.
we
Ciao,
lived in
ciao.
love and harmony. We had a whole lot of love. We lived in unity. So where did we go wrong? We don't sing the same song. Where did we go wrong? Yeah. We don't sing that same song. I find it hard to believe. Shoulda, 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 shoulda.
This the one. This the one.
We both got to make an effort, and I'm willing to meet you halfway. We both got to be
Ciao, ciao.
sincere
See y'all next week.
before
Same
we
time,
choose to
same
see
place,
a better
same
day.
station.
Somebody please tell me why so much animosity? Hate is too much a burden to bear, when love is so much easier to share. Shoo-doo, shoo-doo, shoo-doo. Shoo-shoo, shoo-doo-doo.